Shit, what's this podcast called?
Discourse of Human Events.
Everything's okay, I'm just trying to act my age. Yeah, I wanna know where the hell the days go. Yeah, I wanna know where the hell the days go. I wanna look and feel years younger, baby. I wanna look.
1, 2, 3, dildos!
Alright, so I'm here with Nick, Chloe, and our RNE, resident necrophiliac expert, Corey, joining us to do our first recommendation episode. So we're going to go through...
So love that title.
Such a great title. What other podcast has that? None. Now, if you start being a guest on other necrophilia podcasts, you're going to have to let us know.
Some problem.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know all the podcasts that are out there. Some might be pretty interesting.
There might actually be some weird shit out there.
I'm going to guess you're going to have to go pretty deep in the web to get to that one.
Yeah, that might be like dark web podcasting.
They probably have less fans than we do.
They have podcasts where it's process the voice.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I'd be really embarrassed if they actually had more fans.
I was about to say, I don't know. There might be more fans in such a niche like that. Like, people are seeking it out. So anyways, for this recommendation episode, we'll go through categories, and everyone, we're going to give a recommendation for books, movies, TV shows. So this will be a good one to have a pen and paper ready for the audience, for all those fans that are listening. Because we're going to give our ideas on this kind of media. We'll go with Nick and Chloe. You guys will go last since you have a little thought to do. Does that sound good?
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So Corey, let's start off with your recommendation on a book, a good book to read.
All right, so I was actually kind of wrestling with myself on this because I had three...
Yeah.
2 book series and an author. So
Okay.
my number one selection is Wheel of Time.
I keep hearing this one.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a series that's 14 books long, and so long that the author died before he got to finish it, but Brandon Sanderson picked up the torch and ran with it and made one book into 3 and just did an amazing ending with it.
Really?
And yeah, like...
So
it's
people are
now
actually
15
happy
books.
with the ending.
Yes, I was very happy with the ending, and most people were very happy with the ending.
So that's unique already.
Yeah, it's rare you find somebody picks up like authorship after their original person died and people are happy with it.
Yeah, it's very...
Like I know, I think the guy that wrote Dune, his son picked it up or
Oh,
something.
he's terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and everyone hated it.
That's the
There's
exact one I was going to
another
give an example of.
Yeah, a lot of people, like... I
God
think
damn it,
somebody
George
else
R. R.
picked up
Martin,
some
don't
book
die
and
on
stuff.
us.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you do it.
Well, the important thing about Wheel of Time is Robert Jordan knew he was dying, and he wrote manuscripts to help whoever took over, so they
That is
didn't have to
genius.
make up the story the whole
As
way.
they go.
And then they got to pick who finished it.
Can you give me a general synopsis of what Wheel Time actually is about? 'Cause
Yeah,
obviously it sounds like
it's
time
fantasy.
travel, but I have no fucking
I've heard
idea.
it recommended so many times.
Yeah,
but, like,
right.
only after I stopped reading fantasy so much. And I never read it.
There's 3 male main characters and like technically 3 female main characters.
Okay.
And it starts out with this woman who's what they call an Aes Sedai. She's essentially a witch. Comes to a small town looking for a person called the Dragon. Now the Dragon is like the Dalai Lama kind of thing. He gets reborn every couple hundred years.
Okay.
And he always, before this story starts, every dragon beforehand pretty much screwed up and almost destroyed the world.
Mm-hmm.
And the dragon is essentially the light who will fight the devil. And throughout like I said, it's 14 books, so You get introduced to all the characters. The main three, like I said, Randall Thor is the main character. There's a guy named Matt and a guy named Perrin.
Matt
and
really
they're the
sticks
ones
out in those names.
Well, his name is Mattram,
Okay.
technically, but they call him Matt.
It's like a Game of Thrones kind of thing going on there.
Right. Long before that book started.
Yeah.
The first book in Wheel of Time came out years before the first Game of Thrones. But, yeah, they all have nicknames. And
So what makes this book or series so good? Like, what sticks out to it? Is it just, like, good character development or the plot?
It's amazing character development. It's got really good stories, and each book ends well, which is hard to do in a series. Like, especially a series that's not just, like, it has one common story throughout the entire thing that they focus on.
Do they all still end on, like, a cliffhanger?
There was
I
unfinished
definitely need
things.
to read the next one. Yeah.
Unfinished
But-
business.
Unfinished business, but they all still had a good ending.
Okay.
Like a hatch was opened at the end of book 1.
That's such a good ending. So good.
Sorry, that's a Lost reference you wouldn't get.
It's so good.
You gotta watch Lost.
Such a good reference. Alright. I keep being recommended this book. The problem is the 14 books
have
is
to.
intimidating.
Yeah,
Right.
that's like too daunting, and I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
Especially the smallest book is still like 850 pages.
Exactly. I might have to go audiobook on it. That might convince me just because I do so much driving. That might. After
Honestly,
one-
that's how I picked up most of them.
Yeah, that might be the way to go with this one. All right.
And you can skip book 0 if you don't want to invest the extra time, because it's just like 20 years beforehand telling the story of a couple of the characters.
Yeah, I
It's
don't need that
not
in my life. I want to start
pivotal.
with the one.
Right.
All right. So my recommendation is like the complete opposite of what you just recommended. This is like an 80-page like kids book. It was literally the first novel or book I read.
Basically, Zach's illiterate. So he never got past 4th grade literacy.
Well, this is the first book I ever read, and I feel
It's called The
like
Cat
nobody
and the
knows
Hat,
it.
and it speaks to me.
It's called Red Fish, Blue Fish, One Fish, Two Fish. It has an amazing plot.
Amazing.
But anyways, it's called The Dark Side of Nowhere. And I really can't give away what it's about. I'll basically say it starts off with a kid in school who finds out his friend dies of appendicitis. And later on that day, he finds this kid finds a glove that he can put on that has like special powers. I would say like it's like a gun, a weapon, and it's all about him discovering things within his town and that weapon. But it is only like 80 pages, so you guys could literally read it in one
I
sitting.
will actually read that one.
Yeah.
The 14 one, I feel like if it's good, I got to clear my schedule.
But it's like the first book I ever read that actually had like a beginning, a middle, and end, and actually had twists and turns throughout. And that's why it sticks out, because nobody has ever heard of this book. So I knew that would be a great recommendation, because you guys
What
could
is it
actually
again?
read it.
I might actually read this.
The Dark Side of Nowhere. And I love the title of the book, too.
Who's the author?
Neil Shusterman. Who was the author of Wheel of Time? I know you.
Robert Jordan.
Robert Jordan.
And then Brandon Sanderson took over.
Okay.
That's how many times it's been recommended to me. I didn't read it, but I still know who wrote it.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Because a lot of times they'll say Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series.
Right. Which is now becoming a Showtime or HBO series.
Oh, you've just discouraged me from reading
Yeah.
it ever.
Oh, don't do that. Just ignore the existence of the TV show like I did.
No. I think
Yeah, TV
there is
show would
so
be the
much
way I'd
stuff
go.
out there. If there's a TV show, I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to spend my time reading other things.
This is true. That's exactly what I'll do. Speaking of Dark Side of Nowhere, if I ever had the money to make a movie, this would be the first movie I would make. If I had like full control and I could just make a movie, I would totally make this a movie. All right, Chloe, ladies first. What's your recommendation on
What
a
do you want
book?
to do?
Well, I would say like 90% of the book that I read was in Chinese. It will be really hard for me.
That's
to
a good
recommend
point.
You
the
can
rest.
you can still recommend us. Some of them have translations.
So you also recommend Redfish,
Romance of the
Bluefish.
Three Kingdoms definitely has a translation.
That's a good point.
That's not on my list.
What
though.
about the Three Body Problem? Is one Chinese one that's really recent. I'm saying there are popular Chinese.
What
translations.
actually is the three body problem? That's like a
I
scientific
think
thing,
yeah.
right?
It's called Trinity. I don't know how they translate it.
They translate it as the
Three
three-body.
problem.
That's one I've been hearing about a lot.
Yeah, I've heard that
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. It's
Have you heard
they
that,
want
Corey?
The, sci-fi
By
novel.
Liu Xixin.
Yeah, I have
So
this
that's-
book recommended to me like a long time.
Exactly.
I
That's
just didn't read it.
so I'm saying really popular
Okay.
Chinese books do
Okay.
get translated. So if
No,
you have one
okay.
that like is translated,
There's one snippet of the book that threw me off, that discouraged me from reading it. Is one of the characters saying like, "I'm gonna throw the largest or the most powerful thing that I can do to this planet." It's called dimension reduction.
what?
Huh?
In this one?
In this book, yes. So they made the 3D world into 2D world.
That's
I don't know, it just sounds silly
interesting.
to
That's
me.
kind of
It
cool.
is silly.
That
That's
sounds
ridiculous,
cool.
but it sounds like well,
Sounds
it
very
sounds
anime.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, like nothing I would have ever.
That actually sounds
I
pretty
would
sweet.
think what I'd see in like a normal book.
That's in the three body problem?
Yeah.
That sounds
then
kind of
this-
cool.
The story was kind of set in the 1950s China, so it's still heavily under a communist
Dimension
party's
reduction.
control.
I like that.
Yeah, the very limited amount of English book that I read, which includes.
You read an English book?
Aww.
I've seen you try and go like too many words.
Hey, that's the same thing I say.
Hey, you can read what Zach recommended to you.
Yeah, she actually could.
No, I read Gillian Flynn's all books
Oh.
that she wrote.
Okay, you did. This is. I should be scared. You know that Gone Girl movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Chloe liked that movie so much. She
I
read
love-
every novel the girl that wrote
The
that
author,
book that
yeah.
the book that movie was based on.
It turns out.
And
it's
since
not
then
the
I've
best
been
book.
really worried about her because they're always like woman getting revenge on man. Like, novels.
No, that's not true. That's only that book is.
I thought they were a little. They're super drama and women doing shady
no, no. Like,
shit. You were
there-
describing one to me that was like. eh.
okay, one of
I should
them
be
is
worried.
like the little girls being.
So that's
exchanged-
two because Gone Girl is another one.
And then the third one is about a young boy that got framed. That's
So they have different plot
a different
lines.
story. Yeah, they have
But I
a
sleep
plot
with
line.
one eye open.
My wife watches nothing but, Snapped and Women with Knives, and I sleep with one eye open just because those shows are like, oh, these girls went crazy, and here's how they almost got away with it.
Yeah,
When-
and they're like, and the man deserved it, by the way.
oh yeah, he's always a terrible scumbag. There was no ever a
Yeah.
guy that was just like a nice guy.
If I were to recommend a book, just including all the Chinese and American or English books that I read, one of them stood out was a novel about a tomb raiding, about those people who exist during, say, like 1960 to 70s back then,
Yeah.
and then how they got their heritage from their parents, grandparents, and then they go into various different graves in their adventure.
Yeah. It's a popular genre in China, right? Tomb raiding
It's
novels?
yeah, it's a popular genre. So
That's weird.
You can read like two of those most famous ones. I think that would conclude everything.
Not that
Okay.
weird. I mean, we have, like... Indiana Jones is kind of like a Tomb Raider, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's going around in old shit, stealing stuff.
I mean, we have two.
But the
Raiders
difference is,
games.
it belongs in a museum, rather than, how much can I make off this thing?
All right,
And
Nick.
it was popular enough for Tomb Raider and Uncharted to become.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly.
Tomb raiding has entered our atmosphere, our area. All right, Nick. What's your recommendation book wise?
All right, mine's going to be considerably different.
Okay.
Good.
So, I would recommend particular Platonic dialogues.
Platonic.
So-
this sounds like a philosophy book.
Yeah. So, they're short and they're good.
Okay.
Okay, so the ones I would particularly recommend.
Sounds gay.
So basically, there's 5, I think, that are packaged generally as the life of Socrates from like his trial to his death.
My boy Socrates.
It's good. You got to read it. They're
I like
they're
philosophy,
probably
so
10 pages each dialogue, and they're usually packaged like that. And if you only read one, read the last one, the Apology, where he's defending himself against the charges of not believing in the gods and
That's
corrupting
interesting.
the youth. Yeah, and it starts with him doing the corrupting the youth. Like, he's convinced, like, a guy is going to testify against some family members, and then he, like, if you've ever read any Socratic dialogues or heard of Socrates, he starts asking these questions, and then he gets the person he's talking to start asking questions.
Too much questions.
Yeah, they put him to death. Society puts him to death for asking too many questions.
You know too much.
That's too funny.
And I mean, this, by the way, is sometimes taken as part of the foundation of Western civilization, these books.
Huh.
All right? This
Okay.
is 400 years before Christ was born.
Okay.
I'll definitely read those. That you had me at that ending.
Yeah. I definitely read the Apology. I forget the name of the first dialogue, but they're usually packaged 5 of them together, starting with when he corrupted the youth, all the way to when he defends himself.
There's a podcast I listen to, Tim Ferriss, and he always recommends a philosopher. It's like escaping me right now.
What's the philosopher believe?
He's hold on, that's also what I was trying to believe. It's like the oh god, what is it called? Kind of live your own life, don't go by the rules of society, kind of be relaxed. Because I mean that's like Tim Ferriss 4-hour work week, like live your own life kind of.
If I'm guessing, Alan Watts?
No, it's an old philosopher.
Maybe?
It's an old
Okay.
philosopher.
You gotta give me more than that.
I'm looking it up right now. It's gonna bug me. And I might not even have
Epicurus?
like his philosophy.
It's not even that. He's more of an
Oh,
ascetic.
okay. I know the philosophy. This is a better summation of the philosophy. It's like if you're worried about money and everything, like live a day without anything. Like live on the street, live in rags and stuff. And
Is it Marcus Aurelius?
no, and the quote's like, "Is this what I so feared?" And then
This
you'll
is
realize
the Tao of Seneca.
Seneca. That's it. Seneca.
Ah.
Seneca. That's the one he always
Another
recommends.
Stoic. I was
Yeah,
close.
Stoicism. That's it.
Yeah.
Stoicism.
So Marcus Aurelius was another Stoic.
Ah,
Yeah.
so you're
Stoicism
close.
is like, just kind of take it. Just don't try to be so involved in your life. Like everything
Live life
is
as
gonna
it
happen.
is.
Whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like there's not as much as you can control, but control what you can
Yeah. Okay. That's
and
a
be
good,
okay with it.
That's a good assumption. Okay, so that's a good summary of some books. Very very diverse group we have here. I like it.
Yeah, we do.
So they're not a
They're
lot
very-
of read books.
All
Out
right.
there.
Well, so let's switch it up. So we have our books. Now let's go to what Americans love more. Let's go with our movies. Corey, what is your movie recommendation?
All right,
Necrophilia
the movie-
2.
Right. The movie I picked is actually, I think it was really underrated when it came out. It's not that old. Did any of you see the movie In Time?
In Time.
It was
Doesn't ring a bell.
Justin Timberlake.
Oh, is that where like you
where time was
turn-
currency?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
do something
Everybody-
to get
Oh, yeah, I
like
watched
to keep
that.
living. I didn't
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
that.
It was
I
a
heard
great
good
movie.
things.
It was a great movie.
Essentially, everyone stops aging at age 21 or 23. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember the
exactly. And
They
at
have
that
another-
point, they have exactly 1 year on their clock, and they get paid in time. They can spend. That's how they buy booze or whatever. Whatever you do, you have to spend your time on it.
The weird thing is,
And-
though, you have to use time to get time, if that makes sense.
Right.
You gotta spend money to make money sometimes.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
That's a very
And
good point.
The storyline is that some rich asshole gives Justin Timberlake like 400 years worth of time and then commits suicide.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And it's about how he tries to move into and they have time zones to where like he's in the poor time zone and he has to move, or he tries to integrate into the rich people time zone. People who have tons of time.
And he has to, like, hide his sleeve because the time is, like, displayed on your arm.
Yeah,
like, at
anybody
all
can
times.
see it.
So it's kind of like your
I know
wealth
that
is
Olivia
open
Wilde
and
is
out
his
there.
mother.
But you
That's
can
the
also
only thing I
deposit it.
remember.
You can deposit time into little devices that'll hold it
I
for
forgot about that. It's been a while.
you. And,
And you can
It's-
rob a time bank.
right, they rob a time bank because he meets up with Mila Kunis, who is some rich guy's
Very
daughter.
hot.
Well, yeah.
Nice.
And,
It
I
is
just-
a
I
good
loved
movie.
the
It's
movie.
really good.
it was a lot of social commentary,
Yeah.
which usually I'm just like, eh. But it was well done.
Yeah. It was,
And
social commentary has to be done with a cool plot. And that was a cool
right.
plot.
And it was a very green movie. Like, you ever notice sci-fi style movies always have a green tint to it?
Yeah.
That was all over this
It was a
movie.
big
and
green palette. Which
Right.
makes sense. Time and money. Good
So that's
recommendation, because it's like one of those movies I kind of forgot about. So my recommendation, I went with a series, and I know you guys have all at least seen the first one of the series. But that's the problem, is almost everybody's only seen the first one or the second one, and it's the Cube series. So I know you guys have seen Cube, right?
Jennifer
No.
Lopez?
No.
No.
Nope.
No, you guys have
No, I
seen
don't
the
think I've seen
Cube, where everyone wakes up in a room.
No. You told me to watch it. I still haven't.
You seriously haven't seen Cube? For some reason, I thought for
no, I
sure
want
you'd
to.
seen it. Corey, you haven't seen Cube either?
Nope.
Not that I can think of.
Holy fucking shit! I did not think this would
Yeah.
happen. So
I've
everyone
only
wakes
seen
up
Sphere.
in a room, and there's a door on the floor. There's a door on the ceiling. There's a door to the left, the right, in front of them, and behind them. It's literally a cube room, and they slowly figure out that rooms are booby trapped, and they're in this giant cube, and they have to solve puzzles and all this stuff to get out of this cube. It's like a very low budget horror film, basically. So the first one is the low budget horror film. Then the second one is they do like a higher budget, because that one was such a classic and made a bunch of movies. So they did Cube, Hypercube. So it was like a more futuristic look. And then the third one, which most people who enjoy Cube have seen the first two. The third one is called Cube Zero. And Cube Zero is like a behind the scenes, like who is running this cube exactly? What's going on to control this cube? And I actually think it's the best in the whole series, but you have to
There's
watch
a lot
the
of fucking
first
cubes
two.
in this thing.
Yeah, but you have to watch the first two to really get it. Oh, just wait till you see Cube 1. There are a lot of goddamn cubes going on. So, but watch the Cube series. That's my recommendation. I'm really shocked that you guys have not seen it. Because you guys are such movie buffs, and this is like a cult classic.
I feel like they should have 6 cubes, one for each side.
No,
I
you
wish
live in
they
a
would.
Three-dimensional world.
Yeah.
I wish they would.
Yeah, one side of the cube. It gets a movie.
Yeah.
They should have
So you go
6.
higher
I'm totally
dimension,
for
it's
it.
more.
Oh, you want a hypercube movie?
Totally.
Maybe that's the 7th one, the hypercube. When they really jump the shark.
No.
That's too funny. Alright, Chloe, what's your recommendation for a movie?
Okay, I don't know if any of you guys have seen it. It was done by a Greek director.
Greek?
I know what you're recommending.
And he has 2 films that I like, but I
It's
personally
definitely gotta be the
prefer.
other one.
What?
The Lobster is the one you're going to
Yes,
recommend. It was
yes. I'm
definitely
going
better.
to recommend
The other one was
film
really weird.
called Lobster.
It's just called Lobster.
The Lobster.
The Lobster.
It's got Colin Farrell in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
I like
the
Colin
idea
Farrell.
was pretty interesting that
Yeah.
you live your life, right? And then you have to find a
Significant other.
significant other to reproduce, basically.
Mhm.
And to basically find love.
Yeah.
And so this guy, the main character, checked himself into this weird hotel. So he checked himself in, and then he is determined to find other partners. But all the people have inside of that hotel are also trying to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But they're so inept to find love and also love other people. They are always very awkwardly being alone.
Yeah. You haven't given the main why it's
No,
called
I
the
don't wanna-
lobster.
Yeah, that's
They reveal that
that's also what I was
They
wondering.
reveal that in the first 2 minutes. It's very awkward.
I was like,
Yeah.
why the
Like,
fuck is
it's
this called lobster?
Is it about
Because-
the way
So
lobsters
this isn't
hold hands?
an alternative society or something. So it's it's illegal if by a certain age you don't have somebody with you, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you have
if
to
you
find a
don't-
mate by a certain age.
Yeah, and if you don't, you go to these people who if you don't have somebody in the next, I forget however many days it is, they're going to turn you into an animal, and you get
yes.
to choose the animal, and the guy chooses a lobster.
Yes.
Ah,
It's very strange, but it's very interesting.
very
I think it's
weird.
so random.
plot.
it's great though. It's like a brutalist interpretation of
I like
romantic
it.
relationships.
Romance, yes.
It's very good.
Yeah, I'll probably watch that.
If you end up turning into the animals, they left you.
So
into the
fucking
forest,
weird.
So if they hunt you down, you may be made into dinner or something.
I like how that's
I actually
The
would
punishment.
That's a good recommendation.
who the fuck
That's-
would choose being a lobster though? That's fucking.
He had a reason. I can't remember.
Okay, the main character actually explains this.
Yeah.
Back if you watch
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah, it's
Well, don't give it away. Don't
forever.
give it away. I actually want to.
That's right.
I actually want to hear
Yeah.
him say that. Then that part I do want to
okay.
hear. That's cool. Right.
Definitely interesting.
Yeah, that's an
I
awesome
like that
recommendation.
concept.
Yeah.
He has another movie called Dogtooth. It was
Oh,
really
that was-
strange. So make sure that you like lobster first, then
Yeah.
you watch the Dogtooth.
Okay.
That one was really.
odd.
It's funny that I think the lobster was out there, but Dogtooth, the other one, was really out there.
That one's got to be fucking crazy.
Although Dogtooth is at least realistic, this could have happened in real life, but it's just weird in such a way that you're like, this is really fucking weird. And it's
Uncomfortable.
funny,
Just
All right, I'm gonna watch The Lobster for sure, though.
too. Oh yeah,
I'll watch
definitely.
that. All right, Nick, your recommendation for a movie?
I was gonna recommend Adaptation.
Oh, you're going old school. That is a good
Have
one.
you seen that?
Yeah,
Yeah, that is definitely one of my favorite movies.
I think I watched that with you, like way back.
It might have been, but yeah, it's to me, it's the most clever movie ever. Like, it's one of the ones where I can't give you exactly what it's about
Yeah.
because it's supposed to be a big reveal at the end. 2, if you rewatch it, like people say you get so much on the second viewing.
Yeah.
This movie is so much that, like, more than any other movie that I've ever watched. There's so many things you wouldn't have caught if you didn't know the ending.
More than a movie like Primer, where you have to watch it like
You don't-
18 times to even understand
the
it.
thing is, you don't even understand Primer until the third time. You understand this movie on the first time, but then you watch it and you're like, oh,
Okay.
and you get all these little.
So I really do need to rewatch that because when I watched it, I had to have been like maybe 10 or 12. Like, there's no way I completely
You
understood
wouldn't
it.
understand that
Yeah.
at 10 or 12.
Yeah, there's no
It's
way
a
I did.
great movie, and maybe you wouldn't entirely understand the ending at 10 or 12. I mean,
I'll have
it's
to
not like
watch it.
it's not like something super basic, like he was dead the whole time.
Yeah. Okay. Have you seen
But,
it, Corey?
No, but it sounds very interesting.
It's
It's
Nicolas
got Nicolas
Cage.
Cage, and it's a good
Oh.
role, not one of his. He did it for the money roles.
Like the Weatherman.
I owe the IRS money roles.
I'm so sad for Nicolas Cage because we were flipping through Netflix the other day, and he has become the guy who makes shitty movies about tragedies to the point where he's got one about the USS Independence, and that was a super sad situation to begin with.
Yeah.
And then you threw Nicolas Cage in there. And I'm like, don't insult these dead soldiers with Nicolas Cage playing their commanding officer.
That's fun.
The thing is, he just doesn't turn anything down. It was. He actually really does owe the IRS a shitload of money.
Oh.
They had a
Yeah.
great thing, like a little fake YouTube like talk with his agent, where the agent was just pitching the craziest shit, and he would just say, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay."
The agent's like, I know
he
you're
goes,
not
"Yeah,
going to
I'm in."
take this.
Yeah, I've got this the script. It's just about fart noise for 120 pages. It was he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll do that one."
How much does it pay?
More absurd. Yeah, exactly. As time goes on, he just keeps going, "Yeah, I love it. That's a great idea."
Genius. Sign me up.
Man.
The same guys did the one about Mel Gibson's PR guy over the years.
Oh yeah. I think we could really get some great fans if you go on a crazy rant about the Jews.
Oh, that's funny.
That's all.
Okay.
All right. Chloe and I are taking a liquor run before the next set of recommendations. You can edit this out.
Okay. We'll wait. Liquor run.
That's funny.
I can't believe you haven't seen Cube, Corey.
I'm typing it in now
It's
so I can...
literally a cult classic. Like, I don't understand people haven't
I
seen it in
remember
a group of
seeing
friends.
one with a similar name with Jennifer Lopez in it.
The Cell.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, you're thinking of The Cell. That's actually based off of a Stephen King novel, I believe.
Is it?
Yeah.
Anymore, if it's weird, I assume Stephen King or Dean Koontz.
Yeah.
Because that was in one of the other books I was considering. There was the Odd Thomas series, and the full Ender series was another one.
The Ender sounds like a good one.
The second and third book go a little off the rails, but it's a really good story to stick with.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to keep that in mind. The
Now-
movie looked cool.
I've tried reading the Shadow of Ender series, and it's fucking terrible.
What's that?
Talking about Ender's Game?
Yeah, so like Ender's Game was amazing, but the series he did from another student's perspective, I couldn't stick with it.
So
Like
forget
they-
that shit.
They tried to do it from Bean's perspective, and I don't know what it was, but it just seemed like he was writing it to get the story out, not because
Yeah.
he liked the story.
Well, as Nick said,
Marty as well.
I'm just gonna watch the movies as they come out.
I don't think they're gonna make the second and third.
You don't think so? The first one was good.
Yeah, but like I said, the second and third are barely related. They're about what Ender does to make up for killing all the bugs.
I see. So it's so far out there they don't think they'll make enough money to bother with it.
Right. Because it's not an action-packed.
Yeah.
It's more of a interesting story philosophy kind of thing.
Okay. So it's actually probably better as a book then.
Yeah, I think they would have a lot of trouble selling it as a movie.
Yeah, especially to the teen audience that it appealed to for
Right.
the first one.
And the Ender's Game movie cut out a ton of
Yeah.
the story about his siblings, and the siblings are all over the second and third books. So,
So you'd be like, where the fuck these people?
right.
The
Like
fuck is happening?
you only see either of the siblings for like a total of 5 minutes in the movies. And in the book, it's a whole subplot.
Nice. All right, are we ready for our next recommendation? Are you guys done with your run? Yeah,
Yeah,
your alcohol
let's do
run?
it.
All right, let's jump from movie to TV show. Corey, your recommendation on TV show.
Alright, mine is a 6-part miniseries, and it's funny because we've already actually mentioned the book that it was based on,
Yeah.
and that is the Sci-Fi Dune series.
I've never seen the miniseries.
Yeah.
I've seen
It
the
was
movie.
It was done in 2 trilogies, and it's done, in my opinion, like a lot of people hate on it because they went way over the top on the way the people are dressed and
This
how
is Sci-Fi the channel.
Yeah.
Is it also cheap as shit? Like,
No,
not high
actually-
production values.
No, they did a lot of production value. Like, it's
Really?
one of the best I've ever seen.
You,
sci-fi do.
I'm like so sold on this. You don't even.
Yeah, I'm almost certain to
And-
watch this now.
Yeah.
It follows the books very closely. There's a few minor things they tweak, like the second series is the Children of Dune series, and in the books the kids are like 12. In the movie, they make them 18 because they do adult stuff. They
Gotcha.
kill people. They, run about the place. So I think Sci-Fi just made a decision to make them older.
Okay. Wow.
But
I'm so sold on that.
And I love it. Like, I've got them all on DVD, and it's the only DVDs I have that I watch regularly.
I've only read the first Dune book, so that's the only story I know.
I read all the way up until the point where Frank Herbert died. And
That's
I'm
probably
like,
the way to go.
I tried to read some of Brian Herbert's stuff, and I just can't get into it.
Even-
and he does a lot of prequel nonsense.
Even the actual, the first Dune book had its moments where it got pretty slow. And I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Let's pick it up here. Pick up the pace.
They start talking about the Bene Gesserit stuff, and you're just like, I'm good.
Exactly. So I think I'm going to change mine now that you mentioned, just because you said 6-part miniseries, it threw an old show out that I had watched. My original one was going to be Deadwood, because I was actually having troubles thinking of a good series, which Deadwood is a great series that I feel like a lot of people haven't seen, and it's a Western. And I feel like, yes, it's basically cocksucker.
And after you watch it, you're just gonna have trouble not going around saying, "Hey, cocksucker."
So I will recommend Deadwood.
That'll be your vocabulary. Every other word, cocksucker.
Yep.
But what I want to bring up now, just because it's more obscure, and I think not many people have seen it. It might still be on Netflix too. Is The Kill Point. Mm-hmm. So it's about Iraqi war veterans robbing a bank because they come back from war and they're so poor and they have nothing.
Shit, I remember watching that.
Yeah, it was great, and it's a 6-part
it takes place in
miniseries.
Pittsburgh, right?
I think you are right. Let me see it.
Yeah.
Yep, Pittsburgh, downtown Pittsburgh.
I remember it was a good movie or show.
TV. It feels like a movie because it's a 6-part miniseries, but it has Brody from The Wire in it as well, and John Leguizamo. Not that he's a huge selling point when you say John Leguizamo, but
Big A-list star.
I mean,
he was C-list 15 years ago.
but it is
he's
a
got
great
a strong
movie,
2-minute
for sure.
part in John Wick. I mean,
Yeah,
that
that's
was
true.
a great movie.
John Wick is a great movie. John Wick 2, just as good.
I was blown away by it. I did like it.
Yeah, but I highly recommend The Kill Point, just because if you like bank heist, it's a great bank heist movie. It has a lot of twists and turns on it. And Chloe.
Okay. It's really hard to avoid a lot of people's favorites, like Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Fire,
I'm trying to avoid that.
Breaking
I was
Bad.
gonna recommend
It-
any
it's
of those,
hard.
and I'm like, everyone's seen all the good ones.
Yeah, you got to be a little obscure.
I have one that I'm gonna recommend. I don't think anyone would have seen.
You want to go first, so that way Chloe has a little time?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was gonna recommend this old miniseries again. We're sticking with miniseries here because I think
They're more
everyone's
obscure.
seen the great TV shows. You know?
Most of them, yeah.
So one based on a book that traces like a fictionalized version of the Roman emperors from Augustus Caesar all the way to Claudius.
What?
So it's a BBC series.
Dude, I'm so sold on this.
Yeah, it was from like the 70s or 80s maybe, so it's a bit old, but it's aged pretty well. I watched it several years ago, and it's really interesting story. Like, I don't. Well, I kind of you ruined the ending. I guess you kind of should already know.
I was about to say, can you ruin the ending? It's
was
history.
Kind of like he had a lisp. He was like a little deformed, like a guy you would not think was going to become emperor. And it's like, how did he actually become emperor?
Wait. Claudius, an emperor? We're not talking about the Claudius that was a tribune?
No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about he's the 5th emperor of
Okay.
Rome.
I was thinking of Claudius that was famous during the whole Caesar era. You know what I'm talking about? The
no.
one that became like tribune and made all the gangs and took over Rome with gangs.
No, so
And
this
then Milo
doesn't include
fought him.
Julius Caesar. This starts Augustus is now emperor. So basically, it picks up right where Rome, the HBO series, left off.
Okay, so this is like
Or
a
a
good
little bit later.
aftermath. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, I think, actually more accurate.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the stuff they made up in Rome about the little side stories.
I had some issues with that one.
Yeah,
I think they did it
but
wrong.
This one's fairly accurate. And it gives you an idea of like what every emperor was like. And it gives you some backgrounds. It's very good.
What was it called
Very
again?
well done. I, Claudius.
How do you spell Claudius? Is it C-L-O-D?
C-L-A-U-D-I-U-S.
I Claudius. That's awesome. I just finished. Well, actually, let's wait because that's my podcast recommendation.
Oh, okay. I know what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's so
Do you
funny.
have one now? Or you don't have to give one if you don't want to.
Yeah, if you don't have one, that's fine. Assuming an outsider, you've probably seen a lot of just the big ones, anyways.
Yeah, and also, I didn't start watching American TV show until, like,
Yeah, what?
way after, like, 2005.
Mm-hmm.
So, I actually didn't see The West Wing, although I heard good things about it.
I never watched it.
Yeah, I never watched West Wing.
So, aside from those big names, I do like, maybe you would shit on it. I know you would. I do like Boston Legal.
Let me shit on that for a moment.
That was a great show. That show was hilarious.
I've never watched it, don't know anything about it.
I haven't watched it either.
Danny Craig.
It's got some, like, Shatner is hilarious in it,
Yes.
and his buddy now is on Blacklist.
Yeah,
and-
James Spader.
Yeah, he's an amazing actor, and it's just them.
Yeah, I don't know
Going
anything
off the
about
rails.
it.
Two guys. Just those two guys plop up the whole TV show.
Yeah.
And,
I've never been able... Is it comedy?
it's
Yeah.
comedy.
Because I've never been able to watch legal drama.
So it's
all
a
bullshit.
it's a legal
No, it's-
comedy.
It's a legal
Yeah.
comedy.
That sounds
Okay,
better.
gotcha.
Denny Crane shoots one of his clients in a courtroom.
And he also shows up in turkey costumes to defend a gun right, I think.
Yeah.
That was pretty
Alright,
funny.
He's going semi-senile in the show. So that's what the show's kind of based on, is all these crazy things that Denny's willing to do
Yeah.
to win a case anymore.
And every time he did something crazy, he always said medical. Because he claimed he has a medical disease.
All right.
That's the excuse for
Fucking
everything.
All right.
I should have watched one episode.
Maybe I'll watch one.
Well, since I already mentioned it, let's jump to podcast. A podcast recommendation. Corey?
Alright, have you ever heard of The Champs?
I have not.
No.
Alright, The Champs is two comedians. Hang on, I'm bringing up their names real quick. Neil Brennan and Moshe Kasher. And these two are,
The Champs.
if you've seen their stand-ups, they're actually pretty good. Neil Brennan worked for The Chappelle Show. He wrote...
Oh, that's a seller.
Yeah.
He did a lot of stuff with Chappelle. He the movie about pot that everybody loves with Chappelle. What the hell is it called?
Half-Baked.
Half-Baked. He was one of the writers on that.
Wow. I'm so...
And it's about these two white guys that interview. They're trying to show their street cred, and they interview a different famous black guy every episode or girl, and they're hilarious. Like
That sounds like an interesting
yeah,
premise.
it does.
yeah, because they both talk about how they have street cred because they've done all these movies and TV shows in that culture, and then they just bring on the people they've worked with and do interviews and, you know, discuss. Like this one talks about whether or not Neil Brennan is a crack baby. Wow. And it's just hilarious. And Neil just did a Netflix special that was really good called 3 Mics, where like he has 3 microphones on the stage, and one microphone he tells like semi-sad stories, one he tells just like punchline jokes, and one he tells story jokes.
Interesting.
And it's really interesting because they like do a hard cut before they go back to the other mic, and you'll have this hilarious joke he's telling about his dad being a piece of shit or something, and then he'll go to the sad mic and tell a sad story about his dad being a piece of shit.
Wow,
And
that sounds awesome.
looking into Neil pushed me to the Champs, and I really like the podcast.
What's the name of the guy, Neil?
Neil Brennan, Brennan.
You said that's on Netflix, the 3 mics?
Yeah.
Sweet.
And Moshe Kesher has 2 on there, I think.
Now that name I've heard of. So, my podcast that I mentioned, it's going to be Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, because it is by far the best podcast out there. It's basically free audiobooks. And the reason I mentioned it, and the one I was going to specifically mention, because anytime you hear, Joe Rogan always recommends this podcast as well, because his favorite one is the Genghis Khan series.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is a good one. The Wrath of Khan is a good series, but it's not even close to his best one. His best one is either the Death Throes of the Republic, which is the one I just finished listening to, which is why I'm definitely going to pick up the I, Claudius. And then that or his Ostfront, which he talks about the Eastern Front of Germany in World War II. Or what's his other one called? Something to Armageddon, like Blueprints to Armageddon, which is all about World War One.
Yeah, I've started that twice.
Yeah, so, Blueprints to Armageddon I've listened to at least 3 to 4 times. The Death Throes of the Republic, this is like my 5th time I've finished listening
That's the
to this.
only one I've actually listened all the way through.
The Death Throes?
I couldn't stop.
Yeah, it's
But,
so good.
Unlike you, I don't drive all the time.
Yeah.
So I can't listen to podcasts as much as I
Yeah.
want to. So I tried listening to
just listen to
Blueprint
the
to
white
Armageddon.
Yeah.
No, I can't code when I do that. I can't do that when I'm working. So,
Yeah, you have to be driving.
yeah, I have to be driving or doing something mindless. And I've started Blueprint to Armageddon twice, and then I'll go 3 months, and then I'll have to start it again because I don't remember. That's my problem with his, is they're so long.
Yeah. The problem with
But they're
Blueprints
great.
is there's
They have to be as long as they are.
Okay. The problem with Blueprints is there is an hour or two within the 10 hours or 12 hours that is boring. Death Throes of the Republic is just great the whole way through. Like, you can't stop listening to it.
Yeah, that's why I would I have to find mindless stuff to do so I can keep listening.
Yeah, exactly. It is that good. And that's why I specifically want to recommend Death Throes of the Republic. So it's funny you brought up I, Claudius.
Yeah,
That's the specific
right as
one.
that ends, that one's going to pick up.
That's great. All right. And Chloe, your podcast recommendation.
So, I'm not gonna say your recommendation, because I listened to that.
I
as
turned
well.
her on to one that I said I was going to use as mine.
Gotcha.
So, I just recently started listening to the Freakonomics.
Freakonomics is a good one.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it's pretty popular. So it's not that niche, I guess.
Yeah.
I think podcasting is still kind of niche in general.
It's getting a lot bigger than it
Yeah.
was like 10
It
years
is,
ago.
but it's still niche. There's still a lot of people I talk to
Yeah.
that don't know what the hell a podcast even is.
And beyond that, it's niche, but it's grown to a point where there's podcasts about everything.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
There are people that do podcasting as a living now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's true.
It was 10 years ago. I don't know if
Yeah.
there was a single
If
one.
I'm going to mention it, one that's not a whole lot of people listen to, I guess. There is one from the Med Science called Financial Independence.
Financial
That's big,
independence.
I think that's what they call it. I can double check. Basically, they don't have it very often. Sometimes they update once per 2 weeks to 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
And they usually have a guest that's just like, not someone famous, just like every one of us, how they achieve, save up enough and to live their dream life, basically. So I find some pretty good practical advice from them. Yeah.
Okay.
I like that one. No, I might actually listen to that. That's a good recommendation.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, he comes out with a podcast once about every 2 to 3
Oh, God.
months.
Oh,
If
and
that.
to back up Dan Carlin, also listen to his Common Sense.
Yes, that one's more
So in
frequent.
addition to history, that's one I'll never miss because it's usually only an hour and they're only one at a time.
Yeah.
Like, they don't continue.
And that comes out about
And,
once
like-
a month, though.
Yeah, and he has the best political commentary because he peppers it with little, like, bits of history, like, this is kind of like
Yes.
whatever.
Exactly. And he's such a good podcaster because he used to do he broadcasted for years and years.
Exactly.
He's very good at putting the whole story together and putting you in the story. That's the biggest thing. Is he puts you there. Like, you feel like you're actually there sometimes.
Mm.
And
I'm looking back at some of his older stuff.
Dan Carlin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Like
the Dan Carlin.
The one that you recommended, I'm trying to see if I can get it without paying $10.
It's BitTorrent.
Oh yeah. Once they go old, you have to.
Yeah,
pay for
BitTorrent it.
Yeah.
I BitTorrented all his stuff, but after listening to them for multiple times, I actually went back on his website and donated. I was like, I've gotten
Yeah.
way too much entertainment out of this. I have to donate to Dan Carlin.
Feel guilty.
Yeah, like, I have to. Like, at some point, you have to realize, like, this person has given you enough entertainment to earn your dollar.
Right.
This is exactly what
If it's an independent guy,
Yeah.
definitely
Exactly.
do it.
Nick, your podcast.
All right. So mine was going to be Econ Talk.
Econ Talk.
Yeah. So it's
by
this.
Ross Roberts.
Yes, Russ Roberts is the guy. He's a professor at George Mason University.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a great host. Like, so he has people on, and he just he'll just be like, so tell me more about that. Why is that important? So mostly, it's actually just the guest that he has on. And he asks very intelligent questions, but he never, I don't know, a lot of podcasters and economics and stuff will, start arguing with them and get into ideological debates.
Yeah.
This guy will just be like, tell me why, and then he'll be like, but one, argument against that would be like that. Tell me why you don't think that's an issue.
So he's less confrontational about it.
Yeah, he's really good. He has lots of great guests. Although, actually, one of his best episodes is one where he actually invited one of his frequent guests on to actually interview him.
That's so
And
cool.
and what he talked about was, so he's mostly libertarian, and he talked about how he had a lot of...
In the economy sense, libertarian.
No, politically too, but economics. Actually, economists tend to be fairly libertarian.
Yeah. And he's
That's
not
very
far to
true.
the left. Let me put it this way.
No. But what he talked about, and it's one of my favorite podcasts ever, is how he's been doing economics for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he is constantly doubting himself about, is it even relevant? Does it matter? Because no matter what he comes up with, trying to find this study that shows minimum wage is effective, there's others that show it's not effective, and then you just play with parameters or play with the way you do a study, and it just seems
there's an episode.
Doesn't matter how you do the math,
Yeah.
you can change
Not
it
just-
to fit your story.
Yeah, not just p-hacking. He goes into this whole bit about, all the papers he's published. Does it
Damn.
matter? Does it mean anything?
That's awesome.
And, yeah, that is one of my favorite podcasts of all time. And he has lots of other great ones with other guests. Like I said, he always asks great questions. Sometimes he has guests on where I don't care.
Totally agree.
He's one where it depends on the guest.
Yeah, Joe Rogan's
And if
like
the guest
that
isn't
too.
good, yeah, don't listen to it. But if he has a good guest on, he'll get something great out of him.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll definitely give that one a try. I mean, I'm not a huge economics fan, but I wasn't a huge history fan until I listened to Dan Clark's Hardcore History, so
Yeah,
this could be the
Yeah.
podcast.
His recent one on text was pretty good.
Okay.
on tax. I haven't seen the one for Monday. It's every Monday, so I haven't
Every
looked
Monday.
since
Okay.
last Monday. I should probably listen to it.
Can I throw a second one out there?
Sure.
Go for
Yeah,
it.
sure.
Why not?
Everybody needs to watch or you can watch it as well, or listen to Star Talk.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love Star.
deGrasse Tyson.
What's the black comedian he has on all the fucking time? I can't think of his name.
He's also on, or was on Larry Wilmore's show all the time.
He's so funny. What is his name? We should remember his name because he's funny.
Hang on.
It's like his number one guest, like almost always. We need to plug him because he's doing like a separate podcast with Star Talk where they go into like the science of sports. Because the most recent one is about ice and like with hockey, so you might actually enjoy that one.
I need to look that one up.
Yeah, because I have it like in my queue to listen to because it's like I don't like hockey, but that's kind of cool to have a whole podcast about the science of ice.
That is interesting.
Yeah,
Hang on.
I could probably
Ice.
like
How does it work?
miracles. I have it. I probably have it right here on my podcast app.
Chuck Nice.
Chuck Nice, that's it.
Chuck Nice talks about the ice.
How could we forget a name like Chuck Nice? I don't understand that. All right, I don't want this episode to be too long, so we'll jump around here. Let's see. What do you guys think? Do you want to do song and band, a website, or a game next? We'll do one of those.
I want to do website. I don't listen to much music.
Yeah, me neither, actually.
Corey listens to a lot of music.
I listen
How
to music all
about
the
you
time, but
recommend
that's-
whatever you want on that between those three, and then we'll do the miscellaneous recommendation.
Okay.
So Corey, recommend a song, or a band, a game, or a website.
Alright, I'm going to go with the website because it's actually a pretty good utility.
Okay.
And it's less like of a awesome thing you need to go do and more of a I use it all the time now and I love it.
Yeah.
It's called unroll.me.
Unrolled.
And you have to
M-E,
give them access.
as in me?
Yeah, as in me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I have a .me, but it's MI.
Right. So what this website
Or
does
no, it
is
is ME. Never mind.
I gave them access to one of my Gmail accounts
Uh-huh.
and they analyze all the shit email I get and then it gives you this big long list and will unenroll you from all the junk mail that you accidentally signed up for.
I did the same thing. I've done this. It is a great website.
And it allows you also, like, if there's ones you still want to see, but you don't want 100 emails,
Uh-huh.
you can roll it up into one summary email that'll come from Unroll Me. And then you can just look through the subjects that they blocked and rolled into one email.
Yeah, no, that is a great fucking website, because I do remember using that. And I was like, holy shit, I am subscribed to some bullshit.
Yeah, and it's stuff you didn't even realize you had signed up for.
Yeah, for real. Probably some stuff you didn't sign up for.
Right.
No, that is a really good utility website. Which is funny, because mine is also
Yeah, I have to remember that one.
mine is also a utility website, and also is .me, which is not usual. So mine is Sleepy.
What is .me again?
I don't fucking know.
They've opened it up to where you can have pretty much
Anything. Mine's called
So the-
Sleepy Time. Have you guys ever used Sleepy Time?
Oh, wait, is that the one that like makes your monitor different?
No. So
No, okay, no, never mind.
so it's Sleepy Time, but like .me. So you just type Sleepy Time, but it'd be .me. So it's like sleepyti.me. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay. So you go on here, and it's tells you exactly when you should go to sleep to get like the maximum, to like wake up at the most opportune moment. Because you know, if you wake up during like REM sleep, you'll be really groggy and tired.
I
So
gotcha.
this gives you the
Uh-huh.
exact times you should go to bed if you don't want to wake up groggy and tired. So it's like, are you going to bed at 11? Well, here's all the times you should wake up if you want to wake up at the best moment for you.
Huh.
So it's a real quick, like you just, are you going to bed now? It'll click and it'll give you all the times that you should wake up. So if you,
So you think that really works for you?
yeah, it has. It's not always the best because like Apple Watches have done this in the better way where they actually monitor your
usually.
heartbeats and everything and know exactly that time, because this is more of an estimation. But if you don't have that thing that you're sleeping with to wake you up and know that exact time, this is the next best thing.
And it gives a decent explanation of how they calculate it.
Yeah. No, we just fucking
what is
pick
it?
a
I
random
didn't
time.
go to it. Go ahead and read it.
Well, I put in that I have to wake up at 5 a.m., and it tells me that I should fall asleep at 8, 9:30, 11, or 12:30 p.m. or 12:30 a.m. And it says the average human takes 14 minutes to fall asleep, so please plan accordingly.
Yeah, that's true. It does
And
say that.
I was trying to see. It doesn't say how long its average REM cycle is, but it's just counting backwards from REM cycles from the time you put in.
And it also mentions you should go through 5 to 6 complete cycles to get good sleep. But obviously not everybody can get that. So, Nick, you're the one that wanted to do websites, so what's your website?
Oh. Okay, so mine
Kitties
is...
and titties?
That's also good. If only Cody was here, I knew exactly what his would be. Mine's actually another econ professor.
Really? Not fortunate?
No. So, it's hard to describe this one because it's not just an econ professor. Exactly. So,
What?
overcomingbias.com.
I thought it would be marginal.
That would be my close second, maybe. Marginal Revolution's always good. But overcomingbias.com. And so, both of those guys actually are at the same university. But anyways, so he's a microeconomist. He focused more on microeconomics. So he's kind of looking at, and his particular specialty, I think, is looking at hidden motives. So I just brought up one of his
That's cool.
funnest, one of his quotes. Food isn't about nutrition. Clothes aren't about comfort. Bedrooms aren't about sleep.
Really?
Marriage isn't about romance. Talk isn't about info. Laughter isn't about jokes. Charity isn't about helping. Church isn't about God. Art isn't about insight. Medicine isn't about health. Consulting is not about advice. School is not about learning. Research isn't about progress. And politics isn't about policy.
And I can understand the background for a lot of those.
Yeah. So he has kind of
That's
an
cool.
interesting take on everything. His most recent thing, so he jumps from different topics. And so if you saw the last Black Mirror episode, or the one where they had
Which one?
they had the dude in the brain, and they had people emulated.
Christmas special.
Yeah.
It's
Their Christmas special, that's the one. So, years before I saw that, probably 4 or 5 years ago, this guy was obsessed with talking about creating emulations of brains.
Yeah.
So he thinks that brains are going to be emulated long before we actually develop the AI, just based on economic arguments.
That makes sense.
About our progress. He thinks, actually, he always posts stuff about the progress. So they take layers of brains and they image them, and we're getting better and better at resolution. So he thinks that we'll be able to emulate those brains long before we figure out how they actually work. We'll just you don't actually need to know how a lot of machines work if you can just
copy
them,
the machine.
Yeah. And then there's a whole other level. If you go back on this blog 5 or 6 years ago, there was another blogger here. So he used to have a co-blogger, Eliezer Yudkowsky, who started his own
Eddie Izzard?
hyper close enough. His own community of super nerds called the Rationality Community. And if you go deep enough into the super nerd web, is what I would probably call it. He's they're called rationalists, and they kind of try to come up with the ways to reason in the most rational sense.
They reason out the most rational way to reason.
Yeah, okay. I'm a little too drunk to describe this well. Like, the guy wrote a whole Harry Potter fanfiction that's really popular about the methods of rationality.
That's cool.
Like, and
That
he has
sounds
huge
awesome.
number of followers.
Wow.
So he started on this blog, and then he branched out into his own thing. So definitely go back into this guy's archives and read,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of gold in there.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that.
And that's mine.
That's a good one. All right, man. There's a lot of stuff I got to check out this weekend in this week. So the last one, I opened it up for just recommend anything you want, something you just think people should know about. Corey, what is your miscellaneous recommendation?
Chloe didn't do a.
Oh, no, she didn't.
Website, or...
Oh
I thought she had. That's because my financial independence was written in the website area. What was your website, Chloe?
no. Well, are we doing website?
You can do
Or
website,
game, or
game.
song, or band.
Yeah, song or band.
Okay, I'll do a game.
Okay.
So, I think last year I discovered this game. And it's called Divinity Original Sin. So they started making the second one.
What is it called? Divinity?
Divinity. Like
Original
divine.
Sin.
Original Sin.
Divinity Original.
So, yeah. I think the first one and also the early access of the second one is already out on Steam. And then I continuously to make improvement for it. They're kind of like a what do you call it?
Is it a platformer, a shooter, a RPG?
No.
It's kind of like
It's a strategy game.
kind of like Shining
Technically
Force.
RPG, yes.
Okay.
Technical
Like
RPG.
Shining Force, but in the modern era. Okay.
That's not in modern era.
No.
It's a fantasy world.
I'm sorry. I meant Shining Force was made way back in the 90s. This is
Oh.
made recently.
Yes. They have lots of awesome bits.
What kind of game would you call that? A turn-based strategy game?
I think tactical RPG, maybe?
Tactical.
Yeah.
That's a good. I like that. Yeah.
It kind of looks like
Like
Magic.
Final Fantasy Tactics.
a little bit.
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Yeah, but they have lots more modern elements in there. For example, you can have co-ops with other people to play, and it's like you can go up to like 4 players.
That's great.
And then, and each players, you can manage your own inventory to decide if you want to trade or not trade. And also, there's ways to measure the relationship between you and your friend or AI. Right? You can increase or decrease the affectionate. Depends on the choice of the dialogue that you're making.
I need to
So
see a
that's-
screenshot of this because this does sound really fucking cool.
Yeah, and-
Original.
It's
The
very
screens I
addictive.
have, it looks a lot like Magica.
Magica.
Magica. I haven't heard of
Yeah.
I
Magica.
haven't played it, but I heard of it.
It's a PS4, I think it came out with Xbox One as well.
Uh,
4-player. It's got a weird play system. But that's what this kind of looks like.
It's 2 3D for me, man. 2 3D.
It kind of has a Diablo look to it.
Yeah. I would say the graphic style is kind of like Diablo, but the
It
It does
gameplay
look like
is-
Diablo.
The gameplay is very different
Yeah.
in a sense.
It's not just click the fucking mouse all the time.
No, you actually have to plan out the distance of like you and your enemies and how far you can go, and they're potentially where the enemies can move for the next turn. So yeah.
And you do your
More like-
calculations, and you come to it's 0.33. Definitely repeating, of course. Leroy.
I just like everything about that game. It's great.
Okay.
I just have. I don't know what it is about 3D gaming, but something about 3D games I just don't enjoy as much as old school 2D games. Or, I don't know, dumbed down graphics.
Yeah,
I like less
I'm with you,
graphics,
too.
better game.
I feel like some games have like, we can't make good gameplay, so we'll just make it look really pretty.
Yeah, exactly.
Where 2D, you can't get away with that shit. It has to have good gameplay.
Well, can I recommend a second game?
Go for it.
It's called Fez.
Oh yeah, we
What
put
is
that
it?
It's
game.
very
Fez.
Fez. F-E-Z.
Fez.
It's a very cute puzzle game
Mm-hmm.
that you solve the puzzles by changing the views
Oh, I played that game.
Yeah,
Yes.
changing the dimension where you're looking at like the.
It's about like which.
So
axis
it's
you-
2D, but you flip around in a 3D world.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The only problem with that is you can't fucking get around in that goddamn world.
It's a little hard.
It's
that you
like
have
it's
to
got that maze
remember.
problem.
Hard to
where it's like,
navigate.
where the fuck am I?
Yeah, the map system is not very intuitive.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you're autistic and have tons of time to kill, this is a game for you.
Yeah.
Well, that's one I'm probably not going to check out. All right, Corey. So back to the recommend whatever you want. What's your miscellaneous recommendation?
My miscellaneous recommendation is a YouTube channel that I've watched since the day they got started, called the Bible Reloaded. And it's two mostly drunk, sometimes atheist guys that are reading and interpreting the Bible, chapter by chapter, just going
That
through
is
it.
great.
And it's, I think, 2 or 3 times a week, and then they
It sounds like
They
a
get-
great idea. Just get wasted and start reading the Bible and like describing it and reinterpreting
Right.
it. I love it already.
Yeah,
And,
this is fucking golden.
they do. Have you ever heard of Chick Tracks?
No.
The little comics that
Oh,
some
yeah.
super Christian made. They'll pull those apart too.
I have a
Somebody will
Dungeons and
send them a new
Dragons
one.
one somewhere around here.
That's awesome. Yeah, so these guys have been doing it for a while, and they're hilarious. And if you watch, I believe it's episode 3, you'll see my name on it.
Really?
Because they did a competition for a new logo, and I came in second on their logo.
Oh, second?
Sweet.
Yeah, they looked at on the video. They're like, this one we like a lot, but it's a little too hardcore for us. And I think they've used it on a few things, but it
That's
wasn't
cool.
like the ha-ha that they were going for.
Yeah. It was too serious for them.
Right.
That's cool. Well, I'm at least going to check out that episode.
Yeah.
I want to see that. That's cool. That's definitely a great premise for a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I really think it's
Perfect.
hilarious.
Okay, so my miscellaneous recommendation is going to be obvious because it's what I've been into lately. And so I think everybody should do any kind of martial arts training or something. But if you don't know what to go into, and I've tried to convince both of you guys, Corey and you, Nick, both need to do it. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You have to go in, give it a try for like a week, because I guarantee you'll love it. Because you guys especially are cerebral people, so you like stuff like chess or anything like that. And this is basically chess with your body. And so you get the benefit of playing chess with your body, and you get it in shape as you're doing it. And it doesn't matter what shape you're in when you start. That's the great thing about it. Like, you'll have advantages of being a heavier person starting, even though you're just starting.
Yeah.
You'll have a slight advantage over somebody else who's just starting.
Now, I have taken some jiu-jitsu. in
You
my
have.
defense. As part of my quote-unquote kickboxing class
Uh-huh.
that was 90% jiu-jitsu. And the instructor is now a huge licensed jiu-jitsu instructor.
Do you know, is he a black belt?
I would have to ask him.
Is it?
He's never worn his stuff.
I was about to say it's like no gi. That's
Right.
we don't wear
It's
a
done
gi.
through the hospital.
oh okay.
So he's through an actual dojo, but he taught this
Yeah.
kickboxing class at the hospital.
So that's what I also love about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They do the belt system, but my instructor, we don't call him sensei or anything like that. We don't bow to him. We don't bow to the mats. There's none of that stuff. It's all like a hippie vibe. It's all like, hey man, what's up, dude? Like, it's very relaxed and calm environment. Nobody is better than anybody in the environment. Is the best way I
I
can
like
put
that.
it. Yeah, it's
I don't even. If I did it, I wouldn't even want the belt. Just
Yeah.
tell me what.
It's
like,
so
show me how to,
unintimidating.
fight.
The belt's just a good way to track your progress. That's basically what they use
Yeah.
it for.
I always imagine the belt system is more like an achievement system on your Xbox.
Yeah, that's
Some
pretty
people
much.
have to have that. I did this.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And other people are just like, I know I did this. What do I need to show it to somebody else for?
So I just
Or the
actually.
merchant decided to say, "Oh, I can make money by just buying different belts."
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so the belt
That one costs
system.
no more.
The belt system in jiu-jitsu, I just learned this from my instructor doing a video. Apparently, it used to just be white belts and blue belts were the instructors, and white belts were the people learning. But I guess they had to change it because people were like, it was hard to...
I want to see my progress.
No, it was more of like, people were... I don't know, I would have to look the video. I think it was more of an issue of like, people would come in and not know, like... You know, you shouldn't roll with this guy. He's brand new, and you're a black belt. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to really benefit it either.
Really, like, show, like, kind of carve up the classes into the ways they should be.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way to put it. Like,
Gotcha.
it gave structure to jiu-jitsu. It gave more structure to it. All right, who's next? Nick or Chloe? What's your recommendation?
Oh.
Do you have one?
For
Anything. Miscellaneous.
that's interesting because as I recall from the list that we still have gadgets that's not
Go,
done.
recommend your gadget.
Okay, this is a thing that I use a lot.
Dildo.
And I'm really, really loving this. If you do cook a lot, I highly recommend the stand mixer.
The what mixer?
Stand mixer.
Stand.
We've got one of those.
What is it?
You can knead a dough, you can make pasta, you can grind your meat, you can do all sorts of things.
So
Like whip up the egg whites, creams, whatever.
It's like the Swiss Army knife of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta see this. Stand mixer. Am I saying that?
Yeah.
KitchenAid.
Like, you know, when you
KitchenAid
see
is
people
the-
taking that dough and, like, fucking with it, like, which
Kneading it?
takes a lot of, kneading. That's the proper term. I prefer to say fucking with it.
I'm
It
fucking
does
with the
all that
dough.
stuff for you. So the really
Oh, I've
labor-intensive
seen
parts
these,
of
yeah.
cooking is taken care of.
So it's the word stand mixer really says what it is. It's literally
Yeah.
just a mixer that stands in one place.
Gina has a custom one that her dad worked for Whirlpool, which Whirlpool owns Kenmore or KitchenAid. And a few years ago, you know how there's the Ohio State and Michigan rivalry nonsense?
Yeah.
Oh, the special edition one?
Yeah, so
Awesome.
for the Michigan plant and the Ohio plant of Whirlpool, they made a custom blue and yellow and a custom red and gray. And Gina's a huge Michigan fan, so her dad, it was a charity thing. He bought tickets to try to win it, and her dad spent probably more than the KitchenAid stand would have actually cost to win her this custom
That's
Michigan-colored stand mixer.
So you
She
got
uses it all the time
special
for
edition stand mixer.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen these before. I've just never realized it would be like that useful of a tool.
They make
Chloe
attachments
uses
for
it
it.
all the fucking time.
Yeah, making bread.
I think I can attribute like at least 10 pounds of my overweightness to that thing.
Minimum. I don't have to say I wouldn't like. I guess I don't cook bread or knead dough enough like to need one of these.
Yeah, well,
There's all
if-
sorts of uses.
Yeah, if you don't have those gigantic arms that can knead a fucking dough and toss it around like a champ, well,
Yeah.
that
Like
would
a
be
champ.
Totally awesome. Yeah, like those Italian pizza makers, they can just throw a dough up in the air and just rolling around like a flying
Yeah.
dough. They're amazing.
I see that at our
just
pizza
couldn't do
shop
that.
all the time.
Yeah, if I tried to do that, the dough would just hit the ceiling. Go places.
Maybe the ceiling has great flavors, you just don't know.
It's added benefit. All right, Nick, what's your miscellaneous recommendation?
So I'm going to recommend another one that'll make you fatter. I'm going to recommend dim sum.
Oh.
So if
Dim
you've never
sum.
had it, yeah, in Columbus, in Dublin,
I know
there's a
I've
place
had
called
it.
Sunflower. What's that?
I said I know I've had dim sum. It sounds so familiar.
I've probably recommended it to you
Yeah.
before. But if you go to the place Sunflower on Columbus, and it's not even good dim sum. That's probably the worst dim sum I've had. But Chloe and I will still go there. Used to go there once every 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Because it was the only dim sum in Columbus.
Okay.
So, if you're driving onto 270, right, you exit on the Sawmill, and you make it more towards the direction of the go to the zoo. And it was on the right hand side of the road, very looks a bit like a rundown shopping block.
Close
Yeah.
to the
Sunflower to
zoo.
the corner.
It doesn't matter. Google it.
Yeah.
Sunflower.
Like the Sawmill.
There's not a lot of other ones.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see like an Olive Garden on the side.
Okay.
Of the,
Yeah, I'll just Google it. But so what is dim sum exactly?
So it's Cantonese.
I'm seeing a
Chinese
lot of
people.
bowls.
Yeah, so it's not like they make
like finger
little
food.
small dishes,
Mm.
and they'll walk around on carts with these dishes,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll show them to you, and I point to the one I want. She can actually say what she wants, but they hand them to you, and they're all delicious. They're great. Like
It's making me hungry
there's
looking
these,
at
like,
them.
Pork buns that I love.
Oh, barbecue pork
Ooh,
They have
pork
custard
buns.
buns, egg tarts.
I don't know what pork buns is, but it sounds amazing.
It is. We took Mom and Dad there, and they liked it. Mom would not eat a sparrow egg that she found.
Quail egg.
Quail egg, I'm sorry.
Quail egg.
'Cause it was too weird.
Those are delicious.
It's just an egg, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I tried to say. It just tastes like an egg. It's just a normal egg.
It's just an egg.
It would be hard to find the sparrow eggs unless you hunt
Yeah,
them
I'm
yourself.
But we've eaten a
Columbus.
sparrow, haven't we?
We ate sparrow in China, yes.
Yeah, I can't keep track of the weird shit I eat in China.
Now, how much is it?
It's
Like, is it
I think
reasonable?
$50 for the two of us. 2 people, $50.
If you eat a lot.
Yeah, and we eat a lot.
But is it like
Every
they
time
charge
we
you
go
per
there, we
bowl?
overeat. Yeah, so they'll have a little like sheet, and then when you point to the thing, they go and they stamp the thing on your sheet, and then you bring that to the guy, and then he'll charge you how much. So it depends on what you order. Like the pork buns would be a large item, and they charge you like $5.
So what I'm hearing is photocopy the sheet. And midway
then
through,
just-
like 30, like switch it out, and then like, get a few more.
It's not a bad idea.
No, that's
But,
actually
yeah,
really
that's
cool.
not even good dim sum, and we still love it.
Wow.
Here
So-
they have great dim sum in San Francisco. So many fucking Chinese. There's one in San Francisco where like Obama went and Stephen Hawking went, and it's still insane.
At the same time?
No. Well, maybe, I don't know. They have the pictures, but it's a famous dim sum place, and it's fantastic.
According to my friends who lives there for like
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
and he said it's not even the best. Like he and
Really?
his wife would go to another one.
When
because
we
that
went
was
there,
more
I
famous.
loved it. It was so good. Like their was it custard bun was just so good.
Oh yeah, so they have this bun. It's not just a custard bun. So they made it with egg yolks. So literally, when this fresh out of oven, and then you bite into it, the whole custardy, yolkish bun would oozing out.
Yeah, it's definitely super
It's
fresh.
amazing.
So,
Like,
what's like the average
I made
cost?
that like an hour ago.
What's the average cost if you get like one bowl? What's the average cost of a bowl, or do they vary up?
So it would be like for a large, $5, I think.
$5. Okay.
So, but you would order multiples. So
Yeah,
you'd
no,
order
I get
probably like
that.
4 sets of things. So you get a variety of food. You don't
Yeah.
get like one plate. You'll get several different things.
And that's what I'm noticing. That's the big draw is you get like such a different amounts of food.
Exactly.
Okay.
So here's my question as a person who's allergic to everything. How much of this has like fish in it?
All of it?
So a lot of things has seafood in there. So
Yeah.
are you just allergic to fish or seafood in general?
All fish,
Everything.
shellfish, all of it.
You're
And
probably gonna
peanuts.
die.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
you'll
can't
definitely-
you can't walk in
That's-
this place, Corey.
Don't.
No,
Yeah, that's-
I'm sorry. This recommendation isn't for you.
That's what I assumed.
And you know what? The problem is, if you ask them, they don't speak English well enough to tell you, don't eat this
Right.
shit.
They'll just nod
There's a few
yes.
deaths there.
One of the things I love about working in Columbus now is people down there, for the most part, are very conscious of allergies.
Yeah, they are.
Like, if I go somewhere here in town, they're going to tell me to fuck off. I go to a place in Columbus, and they shut down the kitchen for 5 minutes while they cook my food.
Yeah.
And I love that.
I think they're just more, they tailor to people's needs because they have people with dietary needs in Columbus more often.
Right.
Yeah.
Except for those gluten people. Screw those people.
Hey, there's actually some people with a disease.
All right, celiac disease are the only people that are actually
Yeah,
allergic to.
there's actually some people.
But there's so little people.
Yeah,
that
a
actually
fraction
have
of the people that don't eat gluten are celiac disease
Yeah.
people.
I think a lot of people is just trying to avoid carbs. Maybe.
Yeah,
I can understand that.
which is fine. Just say you don't like carbs. Don't try to be special.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
a little snowflake.
Don't say gluten.
But everybody wants to be special.
Like, now people sell water and it says, like, GMO, gluten-free. And they're like, it's fucking water. Like, you don't need to put that on my water. Good recommendations. I got a lot of research and stuff
Yeah,
to
I'm
do on
definitely
this.
gonna watch that Dune series.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
And The Lobster.
Yeah,
The Lobster.
definitely watch the Lobster.
And Adaptation
Great.
again. I need to rewatch that. I didn't
Yeah,
realize.
if you haven't watched it since you were 12, and you know what, stick with it. So it's not one that's like it's going to catch you in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's probably not very good the first 30 minutes or 40 minutes. Seriously, you got to like at the end you'll be like, oh, that was actually worth
You
it.
gotta stick it through. Okay.
Yeah. It's like The Wire. The first few episodes of The Wire were shit.
Yeah, it's true.
They weren't very good.
They're just like intros.
I didn't even understand what they were saying. They were too realistic. like the people, the black dudes talking, there's too ghetto. I'm too white to know what they're saying.
It's like every time I go to company's meeting with other people from France style in,
Yeah.
it's like, I have no idea what you guys talking about. And they start asking questions. I was like, what? And
Yeah.
then after 2 months, I can slowly get it. Still not like 100%.
But you start getting it.
My
Yeah.
accent was way too sick.
Mm.
That's hilarious.
I have a thing to admit here. I've never seen The Wire.
What? What the fuck is wrong with
You
you?
son of a bitch.
Again,
Too strong.
the only way I understand that is if you have watched 1 or 2 episodes and you're like, I just don't get what's so good about it. Because if you watch like just a few more, in fact, that's how I got Chloe on it. I tried getting Chloe to watch it, so this was my second rewatch through, and she was like, "No, I'm not watching." She doesn't have the patience. So what I would do is I'd start watching it.
I need the excitement, like Game
Yeah.
of Thrones, push your kids to the floor and have an
They get there.
I know
It
they
gets
started
there.
off like first episode right there,
Yeah.
but I watched it every time you were around, and then like by the 4th episode in, she was sitting there like on the couch next to me, like, what's happening with Dee? And, like, she didn't want, after episode 1, she's like, I don't want to watch this, Nick. Episode 4 or 5, she was like, no, let's watch the next episode right now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so my excuse is I got rid of cable before it came on, and I've never torrented it. And I don't think it's on Hulu or Net.
Yeah, but you know how to BitTorrent, so that's not an excuse.
Right. I just would have to go out and actually look for it.
That's the only way I've
They
watched
have it
it.
in HD now. They recently released like a year or 2
Damn.
ago.
Oh, that'd be nice.
It's so
I
good.
always had trouble watching the
Yeah, old definition, standard definition.
blurry one.
So I will watch that, or I'll try anyway.
Get past
4 or
a few
5 episodes. 4 or 5. I even say that with Doctor Who. Like, you got to get through the first season. Like, there's some
You can
good
just-
episodes within there.
You can skip Eccleston altogether, let's be honest.
You could, but there's
Is that
some
the
good
one Doctor?
episodes in there.
Eccleston is the one that was the very first back.
New one. Yeah, because I started watching it and I only got like 8 episodes in. Some were okay. Some were just like, eh. And I have not gone further.
It
But
doesn't
everyone
get
keeps
good until
telling me,
Tennant.
Yeah.
David
Everyone keeps
Tennant
telling
thinks
me.
of it.
David Tennant,
Who are the next
10th
Doctors?
Doctor, by far the best. By far. And they actually started doing some plot that went over multiple episodes. That helped a lot. Instead of
I
Monster of the
was
Week.
kind of upset they didn't go back and do more on a few things they started.
Yeah.
Like the Doctor's daughter is just out there somewhere, and they've never went back and.
It'll come
done
up
anything with
eventually.
that.
I think they bring stuff up just so they can come back to it when they want to.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's got to be coming
The
back on
next-
TV soon, right? It's been a while.
The 15th, April 15th.
Oh, damn, I didn't realize that quickly.
Yep.
That's like next week. All right. Well, that's a good time to end it. I'll
right.
talk to you all later.
Later, man.
Later.